Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Yeah, it's been a minute, but I'm back and I wanted to come back with a pretty easy video. So it is almost the 4th of July and I saw this dessert made over on a fellow YouTuber's page. Her name is Tiffany over at Charlotte Grove Farmhouse, and it looked so delicious. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. I think I could pull this off, because let's keep it real, I am no Betty Crocker, but I said, okay, I think I can even do this. So all you're gonna need is some white pudding, and I got the Hershey brand of white chocolate pudding. I found it, the only place I could find it was in Walmart. So I got a couple of boxes there from Walmart. The Sara Lee family size pound cake, some strawberries, blueberries, and of course your Cool Whip, or store brand is what I use. And you're gonna make the pudding just like the box says. I did 2 boxes of it, and then you're gonna let that firm up a little bit in the refrigerator. It was so easy. Of course, my kids wanted to eat all the berries and I kept having to tell them they have to wait because I wanted to make sure I had enough. I think I got the big container of strawberries, but what happened was I washed all my berries in one bin. I lost track of thought there for a minute, sorry. I washed all my berries in one bin, so I can't tell you exactly how many I had. I had more than enough though, I will tell you that. I definitely had more than enough. Anyway, so what you're seeing here is I'm just opening up the package. I did buy 2 of the family size Sara Lee. They're in the frozen section of your grocery store, but I only needed 1. One went a long way, and it was actually a little bit more than I needed. So we just filled in all the spots, and you'll see later on in the video. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just slicing and dicing up the pound cake. Of course, you guys could make your own. Again, I'm no Betty Crocker, so I'm gonna go for the easy route. One day maybe I'll be able to make my own. And I'm just cutting up the pieces, and I'm cubing them, making them into smaller cubes because they're going to go as the bottom layer. Let me just tell you, that pound cake was so yummy. It was super soft, buttery, and I may have snatched a couple of pieces. But anyways, here I am cutting off the stems of the strawberry, and I am slicing them into not too thin of pieces, because you'll see if they need to be a little thicker. You'll see, oh my goodness, I'm just seeing my dog Bruno in there. But yeah, you don't want them too thin because you're going to like stand them up. And so if they're too thin, there won't be any firmness and they'll flop over. And you're just gonna go ahead, and again, I didn't know how many I had, so I'm always more of a preparer, rather have more than less. So I cut up definitely more than I needed, but again, it didn't go to waste because I have a big family and we all love strawberries, so of course they ate them. Okay, so what I'm about to do now is just put a layer of the pudding mixture on top of the pound cake cubes. You could put as much or as little as you'd like. I like a lot. We like a lot of the pudding, so I put a good heaping amount on there, and then I just spread it out and try to make it fairly even. I didn't push it down the sides too much because I was trying my best not to smudge up the glass. I wanted it to be clear, and if I would have messed with it too much, it would have messed up the view that I wanted you guys to see when looking at it. Now I'm just adding the slices of strawberries all the way around. That's why I said you don't want to cut them too thin, because if they're too thin, then they're just gonna flop over and not stand up real good. Now, I'm sure there's a way that you could place these a little bit neater, but for whatever reason, maybe I put too much pudding. The pudding was in front of the strawberries, so it wasn't as pristine as I would have liked, but you know what? It's all good. This was my first time making it, and I'm happy with it. This is called a trifle. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Dessert, and it's basically a layered dessert. I've seen people make like savory dips in this as well. I didn't have one of these, so no time like the present. After I saw this, I said, you know what? I want to give it a shot, and I went ahead and ordered one off of Amazon because, believe it or not, I went to several different TJ Maxx, several different Home Goods, because I just knew that they were going to have one. Nope, I kept striking out. So I said, you know what, enough of this. And I went to good old Amazon and I found it, and it worked out great. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm mixing up the whipped topping. I did have it sitting out so it could be room temperature. For the most part, all of it was nice and fluffy. In the middle of the container, it still was a little bit frozen. So as you can see, I kept wiping and picking up from the outer edges. And I just did that all the way around the dessert. I put a whole layer on top. As you saw before, I did layer a layer of berries. So besides the outside ones, I put a row of strawberries and blueberries, and then I put the Cool Whip topping on top of everything. And you're just going to keep going layer after layer. Again, I'm trying to spread it out. I think that piece was a little bit frozen, so it was giving me a little hard time. But I'm just spreading it out as best as possible. Now, I had extra of the pound cake, and I guess I could have left it out, but why not? I just went ahead and I did a layer on top. The original video I saw, she did not. She had put all of hers on the bottom. But again, because this is a layered dessert, you make it however works for you. And this worked out great. It gave it additional flavor. It didn't go to waste, and I just liked it like that. It worked out good for me. So here I am layering the last layer of the pudding mixture, and I'm going to put all of it on top, spread it out as best as I can, and I believe this is the last layer of pudding that I'll use before I put one more layer of the whipped topping. But it was so yummy. I never had white chocolate pudding before. I always have vanilla or another flavor. So this was my first time having the white chocolate, and it was really good. So I had a dilemma because, like I said, I could only find this pudding in Walmart. Initially, I about gave up on this idea because everywhere I looked, nobody had white chocolate. You totally could make it with probably a vanilla. The thing is once you see the end result, you'll understand why you want it to be white instead of like the yellow tint of vanilla. So hopefully your Walmart or your local grocery store will have a white chocolate. Again, this is a Hershey brand box of pudding, and it really is yummy, and I'm so happy I found it because it really pulled the whole dessert together. Oh, if I forgot to mention, the pudding is an instant pudding. So this definitely is a simple dessert. You're just gonna follow the pudding directions, which is basically just adding however many cups of milk that it calls for. Whisk it, and I had time, so I put mine in the fridge to firm up a little bit. But it is definitely an instant pudding, so that made it a whole lot easier and a whole lot simpler to make this dessert. On this layer, you will notice that after a strawberry, I'd go ahead and I put a blueberry, and I did that rotation all the way around. I was trying to let some of the blue show so it could be like a red, white, and blue because this is a patriotic dessert. As I'm sitting here doing this voiceover, I really believe that my issue was I just put too much filling. If I put less or mainly just centered it in the dessert bowl rather than pushed it all the way to the sides, it probably would have been better, meaning that the smudging of the pudding and the Cool Whip would not be blocking my berries from showing. But you know what? In the end, it was yummy. There were no complaints, and it may not have been as aesthetically pleasing as I would have hoped for. But you know what? That didn't matter because it turned out delicious and everybody loved it. So after layering the last layers of berries, I'm putting the final layer on top, which is the Cool Whip, and I'm just going to spread it around and try and get it on as neat as possible. This dessert was filled to the brim, so it was a little tricky trying to get it in there without making a huge mess. But I did it. I wiped off the edges, and I just I think I had to take a little off here and there, maybe not, but definitely you want to flatten it out a little bit because you have one more layer of stuff you're going to put on top. No, I guess I didn't take any off. I added more actually. Go figure. All right, now for the final steps to pull this patriotic dish all together. I am going to add some blueberries up top, and I will put a couple of rows of blueberries. I'm sure you're figuring out what I'm getting at over here, but I'm gonna put some blueberries, and then I will add some strawberries and put them in rows. And if you haven't figured it out yet, yes, I am making a flag, or what's to look like a flag. And this is why I said before that you're gonna want your strawberries a little bit thicker than thinner. And probably for this part, I could have really even cut them thicker than I did for the other layers. But you will see after I'm done how it looks. It came out super cute. This was my first time, like I said, making anything like this, and I am not even gonna lie, I am quite proud of myself. If you are going to a barbecue, or if you are doing a dessert just for your family, like in my case, this is perfect. There were only a few ingredients. I hope you guys enjoyed this just as much as I did, and please make sure you give it a try. Also, make sure you like and subscribe because I will be putting out more videos shortly. The last clip that you're going to see is a separate little tart dessert, very similar, made with vanilla pudding, and they were in graham cracker crust tins. Super easy, super delicious. Give it a shot. Thank you. See you next time, friends.